quantum encryption,
precise indoor location,
genomics for disease diagnostics,
keeping oil and gas pipelines safe,
pipelines filled with oil,
visual intelligence for retail,
enterprise quality inspections,
visual process compliance,
digital twins,
virtual lab for integrated circuits,
rich harmonic digital music.
When a company that thrives on innovation collaborates and nurtures,
passionate entrepreneurs with disruptive technology,
magic happens.
11 disruptive startups,
carefully selected,
nurtured by plugin.
A program by
Department of Science and Technology, Government of India,
Intel India,
Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship SINE,
SINE-IIT Bombay.
Gain new insights.
Immerse in great stories and new experiences.
get inspired.
The future is hard,
soft, and right now.
Plug in to innovation. Welcome.
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 Matt Mullenweg had once said, technology is best when it brings people together. And that is exactly what we are going to do in this event. Hello and a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Archana Deshmukh and I welcome you to Plugin Edition 3 Demo Day 2020. Let's hear a virtual round of applause, everybody. Plugin is a collaborative accelerator program jointly organized by Government of Science and Technology, DST, Government of India, Intel India, and Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, SINE. The mission of Plugin is to support and contribute to the innovative startup ecosystem in India. Plugin was initiated in the year 2016. This is a special edition of Plugin as we go virtual this year. This pandemic has definitely taught us one thing. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Hundreds of unique minds united today to freely think and conceive. This is where the innovation happens. So ladies and gentlemen, an exciting evening awaits you that is filled with ideas and solutions coming from the bright and the brilliant startup community. Get ready for a phenomenal display of emerging technology such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, to name a few. We are witnessing broader and deeper partnership between industry, government and academia, all of which combine to create a fertile environment for entrepreneurs, as we will see in today's outstanding program. Whether we eventually move towards a new normal or a next normal, we all clearly want a better normal. And startups with their disruptive technologies will play an important role in creating the better normal. Over the course of the evening, we will witness an enlightening fireside chat with industry experts. We'll hear from 11 startups from across India. The 11 startups selected to be a part of Plugin Edition 3 represent diverse verticals such as manufacturing, automotive, healthcare, music and retail. Towards the end of the show, you can schedule one-on-one sessions with the founders of our startups to discuss more on their business propositions. Doesn't that sound exciting? Now, before we get to the much awaited do of the event, we have a lineup of dignitaries waiting to share their experiences of being a part of Plugin's journey so far. On that note, Plugin partners represent key stakeholders, namely the government, industry and academia. We all know that the government plays a key role in promoting entrepreneurship across the country. Now, may I request Dr. Anita Gupta, Head Innovation and Entrepreneurship, NSTEDB, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, to address the gathering.
Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, with a clear intent of fostering science, technology and innovation ecosystem in the country, proactively partners with industry champions, institutions and incubators of excellence when it is backed by clear need and evidences. Plugin is one of such pioneering initiatives where DST joined hands with Intel as well as SINE-IIT Bombay to fill the clear need and gap in the hardware systems and product domain. In the 3-year cycles of plugin, it's so heartening to note that the startups have been able to accelerate their market translation journey. And this has happened because of the quality mentorship, the market insights which have been provided by various mentors, including Intel and facilitated through SINE-IIT Bombay. Going forward with a clear mission of Atmanirbhar India, I am pretty hopeful that the programs like Plugin will go a long way in fulfilling the aspiration of nation building and enable us to be self-reliant. I am thankful to all my program partners and startups for all their contribution and wish them a great success. Thank you.
True, Plugin has created a platform for aspiring startups. Thank you for those inspiring words, Dr. Gupta. Let us turn now to more inspiration from the industry partner of Plugin, Intel India. We have with us Neil Bhatia, Director, Startup Ecosystem and Strategic Industry Collaborations, Intel India. Over to you now, Mr. Bhatia. We look forward to your insights.
Hi. The Plugin program today is one of the most coveted startup programs in the country, and the startup ecosystem looks up to it. I would like to start by thanking our founding collaborators, DST, SINE-IIT Bombay, all our startup teams and mentors for making this program the prestigious program it is today. We will continue to evolve and adapt our programs to the growing needs and changes in the ecosystem to drive leadership and be one of the most sought after programs for deep tech startups. Collaboration is a key to success. A startup has a limited time of value in which they have a competitive advantage. If they miss the window of opportunity, they probably have missed the opportunity itself. For the startup to succeed in that limited window of time, the whole ecosystem needs to collaborate together amongst itself to make a conducive environment that would benefit the startup to achieve its goals. At Plugin, we have truly tried to bring in the culture of collaboration, and as we evolve, you would see Intel and Plugin play a more instrumental role in building more high-impact industry collaborations. Plugin is one of the key programs that is envisaged by the Intel India Startup Program. You would hear a lot more about our programs in the coming months as we establish some deep collaborations with the global players, be it in the industry, the academia, the government, or the investors. We wish you all the very best and hope you have a great time ahead today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatia, for those powerful words. And yes, our startups are ready to carpe diem. Moving on, the academic incubators in the country provide conducive environment for innovation to flourish. It is our honor to welcome Poini Bhatt, Chief Executive Officer, Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, SINE-IIT Bombay, for her opening remarks. Over to you now, Ms. Bhatt.
For startups to accelerate, they require capital, customer, and right strategy from very early on. Plugin program was actually designed to meet with this requirement. The strength of the program is its partners and its long duration. Each partner, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Intel India, and SINE-IIT Bombay bring very unique value proposition for program as well as for its beneficiaries. The third edition of the program is coming to its closure. The program itself has evolved significantly from being just hardware-centric accelerator program to include newer technologies powered by machine learning as well as artificial intelligence. The current edition of the program includes wide range of technologies such as genome-based platform, quantum physics, solutions and technologies for manufacturing sectors like automobile, pharma sector, oil and gas, and also retail technologies. The startups also saw several positive developments with several raising funding, several acquiring customers, and also a few repurpose their technologies for deployment of COVID-specific solutions. The control confidence is visible in the current batch. Going forward, the plugin program aims to become a strong platform where more ecosystem partners engaging with startups in a very sustained manner over a period of time, irrespective of program duration.
Thank you for those enlivening words, Ms. Bhatt. Indeed, Plugin aims to create endless opportunities for the startup community. And now, let's time to dive deep into the dynamics of technology and investments in India's startup sector with an engaging and an interesting fireside chat. During this session, we urge you to use the chat box below, the left of your screen in fact, to send in your question along with the name of the person to whom the questions need to be directed to. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to introduce our distinguished experts. Please welcome Nivruti Rai, Country Head, Intel India. Nivruti Rai is Vice President in the Data Platforms Group and Country Head, Intel India at Intel Corporation. Based in Bangalore, she provides overall engineering and business unit leadership, drives innovation and cross-group efficiencies and execution for engineering teams, delivering global products and roadmaps. She also leads engagement with national and local governments and policy makers, as well as collaboration with ecosystem players to enable innovation and entrepreneurship. Let's give her a round of applause. Our next panelist. Please join me in welcoming Rajan Anandan, Managing Director, Sequoia Capital and Surge. As a part of the leadership team at Sequoia Capital, Rajan is focusing on developing Surge into the world's top scale-up program for startups by acting as an investment advisor and mentor to the programs. Prior to Sequoia, as the VP of Google India and Southeast Asia, Rajan played a key role in expanding the region's internet ecosystem while accelerating Google's innovation and growth in the region. He is also a prolific angel investor who's backed a large number of successful startups at very early stages. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this session will be ably moderated by Shradha Sharma, founder and CEO, YourStory Media Private Limited. Shradha Sharma is the founder and CEO of YourStory Media, India's largest digital media platform for entrepreneurship. Shradha founded YourStory as a digital storytelling platform for entrepreneurs and startups in the year 2008, solely because she believed India's new age entrepreneurs deserve to have their stories told, something that's not covered by mainstream media at that time. Since then, Shradha has scaled YourStory to become one of India's leading digital media platforms, ensuring that positive, inspirational storytelling remain the core ethos of the company. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our experts. Over to you, Shradha.
Okay. Hello and welcome to everyone watching us right now. I'd like to begin today by taking us to the AI landscape in the country. We are all seeing a deep growth in the deep tech space, and we have companies like Bugworks, which raised significant capital, Pandorum, I could go on, Koyo Labs, and especially in the pandemic, we've seen a lot of health tech, deep tech companies, and everyone is rallying today, be it the corporates, be it the investors, and also the government. In the wake of what we are seeing, and especially world over, we know that we need to look at deep tech companies, and more so in our country also, because of the impact that they can create. I want to ask today, I have very, very prolific, if I may say so, also strong voice about the innovation tech and startup ecosystem, Nivruti Rai and Rajan Anandan. I want to ask both of you, in the wake of what is happening in the deep tech space, what is it that excites you when it comes to India, AI and deep tech? Nivruti, if you could please tell us.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Shradha. And I'm really glad that you started with the topic that I absolutely love, is talk about AI. I honestly feel that as the global startup industry or even corporations, we have barely scratched the surface for AI. The real AI is in the implementation for population scale, for social good, for humanity. And of course, it will create business on the side. I really feel that India has an opportunity. Look at the population we have, 1.3 billion people. That translates into data. And situations like we are in, like the pandemic that we are in, forces the adoption of technology at the faster rate that you've never seen before. In the past, history says for any technology adoption to a level of maturity where 80% adoption happens, it takes about 10 years. But I can assure you, in the next 5 years, the landscape is going to change. How we are going to live with the backbone of technology and technology driven by AI, whether it is in the space of manufacturing, agriculture, in the space of finance, in the space of retail, and all of which you have seen, happen in India and the world. There will be much more of it, and health. So I'm excited about, what we as the country have an opportunity. More so, I talked about the pandemic. The other environment factor that we must not neglect is the geopolitical issue. We must grab these opportunities, don't view them as challenges, but view them as opportunities and spear ahead with our resources, with our challenges, and with our opportunity, and create startups, create AI solutions, and create value. The 13 trillion is sitting for the world by 2030 with AI. I want to grab as much as possible for India.
Thank you. India will count on that. Nivruti. Rajan.
Yeah, I agree with Nivruti. I think, India has the potential and the possibility and the opportunity to build, very large, sort of deep tech companies. But we're still very, very early days, as I think all of us know, right? And, if you look at the broader startup landscape, I think everybody now knows the stats. We have over 40,000 startups. I think in some segments like EdTech, we are leading the world. The world's most valuable EdTech company is Indian, which is Byju's. In some other spaces like SaaS, the time has clearly arrived, right? 2 years ago, we had 0 SaaS unicorns. Today, we have 5. We are at the pace of creating 2-3 new SaaS unicorns a year. So, you can almost take segment by segment of the Indian startup landscape and map them from leading the world to arrived, have scale, to take digital payments, right? Digital payments, India has the most advanced digital payments ecosystem in the world. We have a company like Paytm with an $18 billion valuation, which is clearly up there, right? Obviously, it doesn't compare to, let's say the Ant Financial Group IPO that didn't happen. But clearly, we've got several. I mean, you look at PhonePe, you look at you look at Paytm, you look at a bunch of these companies. I mean, payments, digital payments has arrived, right? So if you put that on a landscape, on sort of a spectrum. My sense is India's deep tech startups are just starting. So we have a bunch of very interesting companies, right? Just even if you look at the Sequoia portfolio, you look at View.ai, which is sort of applying machine learning, image recognition to retail. You look at Kio.ai, which is in healthcare. A recent investment that we made is called Avatar.me, which is actually AR VR in applying it to sort of digital advertising. Wobot, which is applying sort of computer vision to a specific use case, right? And I can go on, but all of these companies are very, very interesting. Many of them are vertical specific. But in many ways, they're just getting started, right? And we are probably a few years away from where we can all sit here and say, hey, look, 2 years ago, we had 0 SaaS unicorns. Now we have 5. We're creating 2 or 3 new billion-dollar companies every year. We are still, I think, I don't know exactly how many years away we are from that situation. But so, the way I think about it is we've got started. Things have started, but we're still, probably several years away from where I could sort of say, we are at where, let's say, SaaS is today, and certainly we're a long way from where we say the most valuable, deep tech unicorn in the world is from India, right? But I do think that'll come. I think that time will come, and the time will come because we're a land of 1.3 billion people with 1 billion problems, and a lot of them can actually, machine learning, AI, IoT, etc. actually has significant potential to play. So that's sort of where I think we are when it comes to deep tech and deep tech startups from India.
Yeah, thanks, Rajan. I want to ask both of you, we are seeing significant rise in the conversation around deep tech, and at least there is an appreciation coming for deep tech startups, because we were not, as startup ecosystems, the whole conversation was that we are copying from the West, and now that India has actually in some ways in the last few years shown that they are very indigenous solutions that we are building from the country for the world. And deep tech is important, and AI, as Nivruti said, is extremely important because it solves everything at scale, and Indian problems are at scale. So to both of you, while the conversation has begun and from different quarters, if we have to actually say in tangible way, how can we foster the growth or accelerate to, Rajan, to you, that accelerate the growth of deep tech startups in the country, then what should we do, and what should the different stakeholders do?
Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, our startup ecosystems are built by entrepreneurs, right? I think, lots of other folks, investors, policymakers, media, enablers like yourselves at YourStory, large multinationals, they all have a role to play, and we should talk about that. But fundamentally, it's about entrepreneurs, right? Building large companies. Now, there are accelerators, right? So, for instance, I would say that the digital payments ecosystem would not be in India where it is today if we didn't have UPI, and UPI was built on the underlying, sort of the Aadhaar infrastructure and so on and so forth, right? So clearly, public policy, digital infrastructure that built by governments have a huge role to play. Capital has a role to play, etc. But all boils down to entrepreneurs. And I would say the most important thing is, we need to have existing sort of entrepreneurs who are building deep tech startups. Grow faster, right? It's pretty simple, right? So if you had 10 million ARR, you got to get to 100 million ARR. If you had 50 million ARR, you got to get to 500 million ARR, right? And what does that really take, right? So I think, when we think about deep tech startups, and by the way, it doesn't matter whether it's sort of applying whether it's AI, ML, or whether it's IoT, whether it's AR, VR, there's a whole bunch now. There's space tech. There's going to be, increasingly sort of healthcare, life sciences innovations that we're going to see. It doesn't really matter which of these segments that you're in, right? I think what's really, really important is, obsessive focus on a user market, right? So, one of the challenges that I see with many of our deep tech entrepreneurs in India, Shradha, is focusing on technology for the sake of technology and not really focusing on the user markets, right? Who's the user? What's the problem? Are you trying to solve the problem? And then really coming up with a scalable GTM, right? If you're going to sell to retailers, for instance, look, there are 100 retailers that matter in the world, right? You're not going to become a $10 billion company if you've got a retail base, if you're not selling to Walmart, if you're not selling to Target, if you're not selling to, right? Because yes, you can sell to some of our retailers here, and there are some very, very good companies. But the 500 million market cap retailers or the 100 billion retailers are in the US and in Europe, right? So focus on customers, deeply understanding their problems, and then apply sort of that technology, right? So I think one of the most interesting deep tech, startups in India is Stellapps. Stellapps applies IoT to the dairy industry, All right. Now, can Stellabs become a very large company? Absolutely, right? Because dairy by itself is a huge industry in India, but dairy is a huge industry in many, many other countries around the world. So I think I always start with sort of entrepreneurs and what they can do differently, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that build massive companies, right? Vijay Shekhar Sharma and his team are building Paytm, right? It is accelerated. There's significant acceleration because of what the government's done, right? Which I think is very, very admirable. So I would always start there. Then I know Nivruti has lots of thoughts on what governments can do from a policy standpoint and so on and so forth. But because our opportunity, when it comes to deep tech startups in India, the opportunity is to target the world, right? The simple way I think about it, Shradha, is India is 2.5 trillion GDP. The world is 80 trillion GDP. Where do you think you should focus if you're going to build a very large company? You want to focus on $80 trillion of GDP, not on $2.5 trillion of GDP, right? So, and that's why sort of India to the world companies, right? So that's sort of where I start always.
Yeah, Nivruti, it's all about the entrepreneurs, but you tell us what more should be done.
Sure. So first of all, I absolutely loved what Rajan said, especially in the end, that why do I limit myself to a 2.5 trillion when I can focus on the 80 trillion? We have the minds. We need to cater to the world. So let me just put the framework around the problem that you asked me. I often look at any problem in with 4 factors: people, product, process, and finances. And of course, marketing goes along with it. But these are the 4 factors which are very critical. Now, when we think of entrepreneurs, when we think of IPs, when we think of startups, innovation, when I think, say, people, we need to enable people to be able to drive innovation, to create startup, to be successful entrepreneurs, to be able to create unicorns. How do we do it? There are successful people who have done it, who have created it, through incubation, through their own corporations. So people like Rajan, for example, when he speaks about startup and the success factors, I actually make sure I listen very carefully, because there's something he may say that I don't know, because he's gone through it a lot. So people, so we need to figure out how to train our people in all possible ways. For example, there are few technologies that I know, Shradha, will define the next 10 years of the world. AI is one of them, but AI is a horizontal technology. Similarly, connectivity is a horizontal technology. Unless our villages are connected, we cannot have value being created out of them by leveraging the 80 trillion to be brought to the country. So we need to figure out how to train our people through incubators, through corporations, through academia, whatever have you. For example, in the last year and this 1 week, we trained 200,000 people on AI to be able to drive AI based solutions, whether startup or their own innovations. Second thing is product. Again, to highlight what Rajan said, what are we building? Who is going to buy that? Is there a market for it? Or am I, oftentimes I've seen people in many companies who are so excited about a complex problem, and the fact that they can solve it, they forget that is there somebody who's looking for this solution? Will they pay even $1 for this solution? So we've got to solve problems where there is people who have that problem, they're willing to invest and buy that solution you have. So product is very, very essential. And again, people like yourself, Rajan, me, and everybody else who's listening in, what are the products we should be creating out of India that we can attract the investment, and we can attract the customers, and we can even attract the innovators to our country. Third thing, process. Rajan briefly mentioned that I have some thoughts. I will tell you, I'm so thoroughly disappointed and excited, both at the same time. Why? If you look at how many patents did India file in the last year, to 2019, it's about 2,000. And I'm talking about international patents. Why? Because I want to be able to protect my idea and sell it to the world, the 80 trillion. So 2,000 is what we published. In 10 years ago, we were 700. Now, 10 years ago, China was something like 6,000. Today, China is 600,000 international patents. 10 years ago, United States was 53K. Today, we are 56K. Now, this is a sad statistic, but what is the excitement? The excitement is We are 2,000. That means 600,000 people generate one patent. In US, 6,000 people generate one patent. What does this mean? We have an opportunity to improve by 100,000. That's the opportunity. The other opportunity that government should play a critical part, and Rajan and I were discussing along with you, Shradha, that today, unfortunately, we take as India, and I'm going to blame myself also, every one of us, first response after filing a patent comes in 3.5 years. We are the only, Brazil is worst. If you look at the several countries where we are actually tracking patents, Brazil is the only place which is worse than us. Countries like United States, in less than a year, they hear back when you file a disclosure for a patent. India grants a patent in 5+ years. I will tell you, in 2 years, a technology today gets obsolete. And I'm coming from Intel, everybody talks about Moore's law. 2 years, technology gets obsolete and people are not willing to invest in that. So all of us, we've got to figure out, cannot blame the government alone. How can we work together? The Shraddhas, the Rajans, the Nivrutis, and everybody else, how to enable us to get the first response in 1 year. That's the goal we must take. So in the process, that's what we have to do. Now, lastly, I'm going to finish. I know I'm taking a lot of time. The last part, the 4 factors, the 4th part was investment. We have to excite the global experts in the area, like I talked about, AI, connectivity, and look at the verticals like health, like smart mobility, like agriculture, fintech. Our country is building a lot of platforms, national level platforms that can enable many startups. Rajan talked about unified payment interface and fintech. For all the AI enthusiasts, let me tell you, the 13 trillion that will get generated out of simply AI for the world, the top 3 focus areas should be for you is static vision or dynamic vision understanding through AI. Second is algorithmic trading. So fintech will play a huge part in generating the 13 trillion. The third is health. Fourth, there are many other manufacturing, etc. But these are the 3 areas our AI enthusiasts must invest in. Look at startups who will leverage these 3 AI technologies. And I assure you, then 80 trillion is the world GDP. But if you look at the world wealth, it's some 400 trillion between Europe and United States. We can attract a lot of that investment if we have focus on these horizontal technologies and the verticals I talked about. I assure you, if I look at a McKinsey analysis, it says the world's AI resources, 16% are in US, 9% are in China, 8% of the world AI resources in India. How do we dream to make 8 to 16 to 32 and be the leader in AI for any vertical, manufacturing, agriculture, health, fintech, everything?
Nivruti, after your answer, I've converted to AI. Very passionately spoken, and yes, 32 is the percentage that we should go after. My question to you, AI powered by Intel is solving a lot of complex problems and making processes efficient, and so many things are becoming a reality. Tell everyone about some of the things that you've done, particularly in India, solving for India. Tell us.
Absolutely. Rajan mentioned that we have, whether it is Paytm enabled through Aadhaar or unified payment interface, we know the government is playing and should continue to play a huge role in enabling these national level platforms. So we know that, already the fintech industry has taken off because of these national level platforms. Similarly, we know that Nandan Nilekani and team are working on health platforms. What we decided to do is partner with academia and government and build a horizontal platform for AI and enable the few verticals that the government and our country, our people care about. So we partnered with, IIIT Hyderabad. We partnered with PHFI as well as, DST and MIIT. Our goal is, and this is not an idea, by the way, for the last 2.5 years, we've been building this platform, AI platform. It's open source. it will enable a standard structure of data in 3 areas: health, smart mobility, and education. It has captured data, several terabytes of data, several hundred terabytes of data in a standard format. It has contextualized and annotated it. It has also looked at how do we come up with unique algorithms that are required for in health. For example, I can tell you breast cancer detection, bone degeneration, etc. So we've come up in partnership with these kind of algorithms. And thirdly, how do we enable data exchange? You know that data is wealth, and you know many countries, continents are worried about their data being moved from this country to the other country because this is our data. And we know that data is owned in United States by big companies. In China is owned by the government, but in India we want to make sure that it's owned by the people. So we have come up with an interesting way of sharing the data without moving the data through a federated platform, federated learning platform. And this keeps us secure and safe, as well as keeps our country's agenda and leverages the innovation happening around the world. So this is our goal with AI platform. And another thing that I've already told you, and this is, I'm only talking about the AI agenda. In 1 week, Shradha, we trained 100,000 people on AI. 15,000 of them got accredited by Guinness records because they have a certain requirements. So 15,000 got accredited. If we as a country with 1.3 billion people and 1 million engineers graduating each year cannot have 32% of AI resources, no country in the world can have. So our goal is partner with whoever is an enthusiast who wants to see India grow. And if India grows, we all will grow together. That's my goal. And that's what we are trying to drive for the country, for AI.
Very nice. Very inspiring. Tell us about some of the impact. One quick question. Tell us some of the impact that you foresee by Intel driving human-centric AI.
Absolutely. So I told you that, if you look at search engines or, even targeted marketing or a lot of, robotics used, still all of these are, at the surface. The value will come if you say, I'm going to eradicate, let's say, communicable or non-communicable diseases out of the world through AI. If you say, I'm going to reduce poverty or the economic divide out of AI, now that excites me. If you say, I'm going to reduce the 17 deaths that happen on the road every hour with AI, that's what excites me. And those are the kind of problems that we have I've been working with the government and see the impact to the population scale. So therefore we call it population scale AI, because our goal is, what are those problems that we can define through technology that can create value in the lives of the large 1.3 billion kind of people. So that's the focus that we have, Shradha. And I'm looking at corporates, startups to partner with us. We have just like Alibaba has a marketplace where you can buy things, Flipkart has a marketplace you can buy things, and so on. We are looking at a marketplace for diagnostics, and we have incorporated many startups. We are saying that, show me the high quality breast cancer detection and you have an app in my marketplace. So this way we are creating a very inclusive environment for the population scale good, and working with government, academia. We need a lot of government support. So we get a lot of regulatory policy help, almost like a regulatory sandbox for innovative technology. So that's what we are working towards, Shradha.
This is very inspiring, and also brings to the fact that Prime Minister recently spoke about that AI should be used to solve countries' problem. And I think what you're doing is just right. There was this whole message, right, around AI, which government is bullish about. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Rajan, you are the person, and here in this panel, like every entrepreneur who would be watching this, would be listening to what you have to say to this, is that, there is this challenge, and there is this, maybe it's a perception, but definitely it's a challenge, is that funding for deep tech startups is not readily available, but that I'll come to later. I want to ask you, what are some of the measures and steps that should be taken, you think should be taken to actually get, Indian AI startups right up the global map?
Yeah, I think we should talk about funding. I believe that funding in India is available, right? We had $14.5 billion of venture capital funding last year, and this year, with the exception of the second quarter, right? Third quarter, we are back to sort of pre-COVID levels of funding. So for the full year, yes, we'll have less venture capital funding here. I think, and even if you look at the Sequoia India portfolio, right? You look at companies like Nivruti Rai, Avatar, you look at all these companies like, we've actually got quite a number of deep tech companies, and some of them people don't think of as deep tech. Some of them, like we invest in a company called Twin Health, right? Twin Health uses IoT on your body, as sensors on your body and machine learning to actually help you reduce diabetes, right? And India is the diabetic capital of the world. To Nivruti's point, focus on things where India has large numbers. I mean, the fortunate thing is we're like number one in the world on population, on everything, right? China is slightly bigger, but soon will be actually bigger than China. So actually, India does have. So the way I think about this is, India doesn't have a startup problem in general, right? I mean, we've got 40 startups, right? But India needs to solve scale up. Right, we need to become like the best in the world at scaling up companies. And when I think about deep tech, I referred to this at the beginning. What we really need to do is get more of our entrepreneurs to focus on solving real problems, getting closer to customers, right? Whether they're businesses, whether they're governments, whether they're consumers, right? And then get much better at GTM, right? So for instance, you are building, let's say, a deep tech solution that solves a specific problem for retailers, right? Or let's say you're building a specific set of solutions that actually, solve for, let's just take, hospital chains, right? One of India's most interesting healthcare-focused, deep tech companies. They don't talk about. They talk more in terms of SaaS. Is really a company called Innovation. Right, Innovation is basically applying machine learning for healthcare outcomes and for providers, right? So large hospital chains in the US. This company has gone from like $1 million of revenue to $40-50 million of revenue in like 4 or 5 years, right? Which is quite amazing, and there'll be hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue in a few years, right? They solved, they figured out how to actually sell to US hospital chains at scale. Every deal that you do is several $1 million, right? So I would say, I think from a capability standpoint, right? From a startup capability standpoint, how do we get more of our entrepreneurs to focus more on customer problems, focus more on solving real problems? And then, what I call GTM, right? Go to market skills. It's sales, it's marketing, it's business development, it's demand generation, and really build that engine. And I think that both those things are actually difficult for a lot of deep tech entrepreneurs, because they're engineers, right? I mean, they're very, very good at engineering. They're very good at building a product, and then they find out, once they launch the product, that actually selling it is quite hard. Selling it is either quite hard because there's no real need for it, or it's a vitamin, it's not a painkiller, and they don't really know how to build out a sales team, right? Which is, you've got to actually build a sales team. So I think that is really what we need to solve, because my view, Shradha, and I've mentioned this in the past, is India absolutely needs to get better at breakthrough technology, right? But that's got to do with research. I mean, as a nation, we need to invest a lot more in research. Our companies should invest a lot more in research, right? But we also have this practical problem, which is, most of India is still poor, right? At $2,000 per capita, no country actually invested in R&D. If you go back to China's history, China started investing in major scale R&D at, a GDP per capita level that's much higher. It's just natural, right? Because you have to first feed your people, make sure they're educated, give them healthcare, all those kinds of things. And our companies, as they get larger, will actually invest in R&D, right? But we don't, that will happen over a period of time. But in the near term, what we are really good as a nation is applying technology to large scale problems, right? So if you look at what TCS has done, TCS built the world's most valuable IT services company, $140 billion market cap. They didn't invent the operating system. They didn't invent any hardware. They don't build software. Yes, they do build some software now. They built it by taking existing technologies and solving big companies' problems at scale that nobody had done before, right? So same thing with Jio, right? Jio radically changed the telecom landscape in India, not by inventing, 4G towers or inventing base stations. I mean, they took existing technologies and applied it. So that's what our companies are going to do, right? So they're going to take, whether it's computer vision, whether it's speech to text, whether it's IoT, whether it's edge computing, They're going to take existing, state-of-the-art technologies, but they're going to apply it to Indian and global problems at scales that nobody's seen before. And that's where, that's the opportunity that we have, right? And if you look at some of the most interesting deep tech startups that we have today, they're applying technologies, but they have a very, very deep understanding of user needs, right? They really tailor, because, let's take AI and machine learning, right? Your models are just going to get better, right? Because if you have, let's say you have 10 out of the top 20 retailers running on your platform for a specific problem that you're trying to solve, by definition, your models are just going to be better, right? Your training models are going to be better. You're going to have more data, and and sort of then the flywheel starts kicking in. So focusing on real user needs, really going out and then building GTM. So if you ask me what's the big gap, that's the gap that we have, and that's what we should solve. And then the government, for instance, can help, right? I think clearly this patent thing is very worrying, right? If it takes 3 years to get a first response, I mean, first thing you should do if you're a deep tech company, based on what Nivruti said, I didn't know this stat. I'm going to now worry, right, about why should a deep tech company actually incorporate here? You should go incorporate and find a patent in the US, right? I mean, you're right off the bat, you've lost 5 years of competitive advantage. So that, we should address these things, and we should hopefully, coming out of this, Shradha, you can publish all this and, very quickly change our patent filing office, right? But also like the government, like India has China has 2 computer vision startups that focus on computer vision for surveillance that have a market cap of over $5 billion, okay? India should also do, we do surveillance. We should do a lot more surveillance on using computers. We should do it in the right way, but we need to, right? But those companies absolutely should be Indian.
Yeah.
Right? Those should be absolutely Indian, right? And we have enough applied computer vision, startups in India today to be able to do that right now. So government can also encourage these sorts of things, right? And it's one thing to run competitions, by the way, right, Shradha? I know you're also involved in running these competitions. See, competitions are interesting. At the end of the day, competitions don't build companies.
Yeah.
Right? Companies are built by entrepreneurs, buyers, and sellers. So what the government should do is put a stake in the ground and say, we're going to buy $10 billion worth of technology from Indian companies over the next 5 years. Advanced technology, right? And say, these are the 10 areas where the government's going to buy advanced technology from Indian companies. And then we should track it every. In fact, you guys should track it. Every quarter you should track, okay, how much is bought? From which companies were you bought? I can tell you that is a super amazing way to accelerate the build out of Indian deep tech startups. So anyway, that was a bunch of thoughts there, but it can be, look, the good thing about India, Shradha, is at the end of the day, it's all about entrepreneurship. And now we have shown through 5,000 years of Indian history, we have great entrepreneurs, right? Everybody said we can't build SaaS companies. We're building SaaS companies at scale. Everybody said we can't, win in e-commerce. We had a company that got won in e-commerce. So I think deep tech will also happen, but I think there's a lot that all of us should do to accelerate that journey, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah, thank you, Rajan. I think this is a very important point, and I hope everyone in the government is also listening. But I also wanted to say for everyone watching is that what I found very interesting this year is that government is actually procuring. I thought it was just sound bites and not happening, but this year there are many companies from which the government is actually procuring and engaging with and giving orders to, which is very, very interesting. But we need at least two Atmanirbhar computer vision startups from India, which, as Rajan said, rightly should be working with the government. But thank you, very, very important points. And then Nivruti, I'll come to you later on this, because what Rajan said, one of the big problems is the data sets, and I think you are solving that. So let's talk about that, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs would have questions around that. But we did, in the last 48 hours, we did a poll, and we spoke to deep tech startups, and this is what I'm just reading out for everyone's benefit. What are the challenges which the deep tech startups said that they face right now? Funding, 23%. Lengthy time to market, GTM, is 21%. High capital intensity is 25%. Technology, risk, and complexity is 10%. And talent is 14%. So, Nivruti, you're saying that you're solving in all these areas, but this is what deep tech startups whom we reached out to, they have come back to us on this. Rajan, you said that there is funding happening in the deep tech space. But do you think it is happening as much as it should, because funding still remains, and there are very interesting, good companies that we are talking to are still finding it difficult. In fact, one of the entrepreneurs said, and he's doing something really phenomenal. He said one of the investors told him that, can you simplify what you're saying, because I don't understand. I'm not from this space, and can you make it simple? Do you think that's a problem that is solved, or we need to, because we don't, out of the 30 unicorns, we don't have any deep tech unicorn in India as of now.
Look, I would say that, funding for many different kinds of deep tech companies is available in India, right? The two types of deep tech companies where it is difficult to get financed in India, one, if you have a big hardware component, right? We don't have a hardware ecosystem. So if you're building, let's say, a deep tech company that is a combination of hardware and software, that is difficult, right? Because we don't have a hardware investing ecosystem. We don't have a hardware ecosystem. In fact, there's basically no hardware investors in India, right? And I think this is probably one thing, maybe, the SIDBI government fund of funds, right? The 10,000 crore fund, they should try to seed, 2 or 3 sort of hardware centric investors, tell them, look, we're going to give you 1,000 crores. All you're going to do is invest in hardware startups. So that's one area, right? The second type of startup that actually finds it difficult to raise in India, Shradha, is if you have long R&D cycles. So let's say, you have to go and invest, let's call it, right, $30 million over the next 4 years before you're going to have any sign of any product. Very difficult to get funded in here, right? Because again, every ecosystem has certain things that the ecosystem believes entrepreneurs in India can do, right? And by the way, I think both of these types of companies also will get financed, but it's going to take, it's going to take a long time, right? So I would say, and I'm assuming, I don't know what type, whether the company that you were speaking to fits one of these two profiles, right? If it's a hardware and software type startup, then it's much harder to get financed for that kind of company. And also, if it takes 3-4 years to actually do real research before you can come to market with a product, that's also going to get harder, right? And I think if you're in one of those two categories of companies, you absolutely need to go and find investors, in a different market where you have those kinds of investors, right?
Yeah. Thank you. That's a very, very valid point. To both of you, Nivruti, Rajan, to both of you today, to everyone who is watching and who will be watching, all the entrepreneurs, everyone who is looking at AI, who's looking at the building in this space, because there's so much of interdependencies when you're building a deep tech startup. It's not like an app, right? Like, of course, I'm not saying that app is easy, because it is also, everything is very difficult, but a deep tech requires deep effort, and a lot of stakeholders need to be aligned, capital needs to be procured. Both of you, from you, if people have to hear, what are some of the things you think, real practical things that you would say entrepreneurs need to do if they have to, succeed in the deep tech space?
Okay, so I'll go first. The first thing you said, Shradha, actually really bothered me, that there was this amazing, technology, but they went to the investor and the investor said, could you simplify it? That's a problem. And it completely answers the issue that Rajan brought up, that if you are building a solution, you should have an understanding where the application of that technology is going to be and who is going to benefit, who is the customer, who is going to pay for it. So my 2 cents, and I'm a technologist at heart, we have to look at what is the product that we are building and who are we selling to, and make sure that the marketing bit is addressed. We are techies at heart. We cannot sell technology unless it becomes a product that creates value for the people. And I'm very excited that there are many deep tech companies happening out of India. Unfortunately, today, many of them are B2B like and get acqui-hired before the product even comes to life. And big companies are, I'll give you one example. There was this Halli Labs AI, a company based out of Bangalore. In literally weeks, Shradha, it was announced and it was acquired by Google. And several other companies are being acqui-hired. However, there are some amazing companies that I'm very excited about. QNU is one of them, Log9. Rajan talked about Intello Labs. I myself very excited about Orbo, many exciting companies. What they have to do is, if there is a problem, for them going into the market themselves, work with corporations or established VC companies who are looking at those solutions, and work with them and go to the market together, hold hands and go to the market together. If, for example, there is a solution that enables me to drive validation of my chips really fast, they should make sure that the Intel incubator is completely aware and look at Intel to support, or look at Google to support, or different companies to support. So they have to hold hands, because we are not ready. Our market, our VC guys are very impatient. They want to see results right away. So we've got to work in the environment that we are in the impatience that we have today. How do we succeed? It's to identify our partners who's willing to hold hands with us and enable us to go to market and succeed. If the market is outside India, so be it.
Yeah. Rajan?
Yeah, I'm going to start with one of the things that you said, Shradha, which is consumer apps. Do you know one of the most successful consumer apps on the planet today is TikTok? You can't get it in today, but do you know what TikTok is, Shradha? TikTok,
it's AI.
ByteDance is an AI company. ByteDance is not a content company. ByteDance is not a media company. ByteDance is yes, short video is the format, right? ByteDance fundamentally is an AI company. ByteDance month 3 retention is at a level where no other company has ever got to. And that's not because, they've got great influencers sitting in like all parts of India, right?
Yeah.
It's because of machine learning, what they've been able to do with recommendations, what they, so look, I actually think, in fact, for consumer internet companies, having a lot of machine learning AI talent is super, super critical, right? In fact, you'd be amazed. We can get into this at a certain stage. If you look at the number of advanced degrees in AI, machine learning, and data science that ByteDance has, and you compare that to all the data scientists that we have in our Indian startups, you'd be shocked at the ratio, which explains why it's a little harder for us to build these companies, right? Now, coming back to your specific question, look, I think for all the deep tech entrepreneurs, who are listening in, right, especially if you're very early stage pre-revenue, I would say you should, before you just stop coding, stop building, stop doing research, go talk to the customer that you're eventually going to sell to, and do some research.
Yeah.
Then figure out, if you built it, will you be able to sell it? Will they buy it? And by the way, especially if you're building a deep tech startup, right? Will they pay for it? By the way, every customer will say, right? But the question is, will they pay for it? And so that's the first thing. If you just go do that. And by the way, if you can't figure out who the customer is, if you can't figure out how you're going to get to them, if you haven't talked to them, please stop building what you're building and do that. That's number one, right? I think if you're a deep tech company that's already built and launched, and let's say you've got, whether it's $100,000 of revenue or $1 or $2 million of revenue, right? Go and really think through, how are you going to 10x your revenue in the next 2 years? 10x your revenue in the next 2 years, right? What is the set of skills, partnerships? Nivruti talked about whether it's partnering with MNCs, partnering with, but at the end of the day, you need to have salespeople, especially if you're a B2B business. You need to have, market development, those kinds of things, right? And really think through, because look, founder-driven sales is very, very important to get from, let's say, 0 to 1, maybe $2 million of ARR, right? Revenue. But if you want to go from 2 to 10, you need salespeople, right? And so, and by the way, if you're, let's say, at 200K and you've got 2 co-founders in this deep tech startup and neither of them likes to sell, you have a problem. Founder-driven sales is the way to get to $1 million of revenue if you're in a B2B business. So even if you don't like it, get over it. That's why you became a startup founder, right? And you got to start selling. So those are some very, very practical things that I think founders should look for. And probably the only last thing I'd say is, don't try to do too many things, right? You look at Kyo.ai, you look at View.ai, you look at some of the companies that Nivruti, they all focus. They have an underlying technology that they're using, right? Whether it's computer vision, whether it's AR, whether it's IoT, but they're very, very focused on a segment. Retail, healthcare, it could be horizontal. If it's horizontal, it's got to be focused on a function, right? Like, for instance, I'm an angel investor, in a company called Abzen in the US, right? So they're trying to, bring AI to the finance function. They started off with expense management, but they focus on finance. That's what they do. They're not trying to apply AI to marketing and business development and sales and R&D and clinical research, right? So I think really making sure that you're focused is super, super important.
Yeah.
Shradha,
yeah.
I have just one sentence to say, based on what Rajan just explained so passionately. It's a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, and you won't believe what he said. He was defining what a customer is. He said, a customer is the most important visitor on your premises. He is not dependent on you. We are dependent on him. And if you are not, there is a problem.
Wow. 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 I've been told that we have 2 minutes and quickly, very, very quickly, I would say, and Nivruti, this to you, is that, how do we bridge the gap between the deep tech startup ecosystem, and academia, because they have so much in our IISc, IIIT, Hyderabad, you can name it. How do you bridge the gap? And if you could quickly tell us what you're doing in that direction.
Very quickly, Shradha, each of us has our own strengths and expertise and value that we bring in. If you look at academia, they often focus on long-term research, and they really don't focus on productizing or getting to market or revenues. As long as it's mentally exciting, that research is a good thing. And even if it is valuable 20 years later, it's fine. So, but they have the research mindset, and it's important. Corporations or smaller industries, local or global companies, they have the ability to scale. They have the ability to productize for scale. Then there is government who enables us with policy. So I really feel with the likes of academicians, with corporators like myself, with startup ecosystem, with Rajan, what we have to do is identify what are the 1, 2, 3 things that excite us, each one of us, and drive those 3 things and hit the ball out of the park. I don't want to focus on anything other than AI and connectivity and whichever vertical that requires these things. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to enable the startup ecosystem. This is what, if I'm at the position of power or ability, I should pick up 1, 2 things and drive. Very much like Rajan also said, Sequoia's focus is 1, 2, 3. These are the focus. Let's work together. Who are the technologies that meet the needs of Sequoia? Partner with them, partner with the academicians, and then support the startups on only those 3 areas. That's how vertical value will get generated. Otherwise, we are going to sprinkle and we'll be like, little dots on the cake. It's important, it's shiny, but it's, not valuable. I'm not going to buy a cake just because it has sprinkles on it.
It's not deep enough. Thank
Yes.
you so much. Thank you, Rajan. Thank you, Nivruti. A couple of things that everyone will take is Nivruti, as you began, it's a $13 billion opportunity, 13 trillion you said, right? $13 trillion opportunity. So we can't ignore solution for India at scale. And then as Rajan said, it's entrepreneurs who are going to make it happen. And with both of you, Rajan, with you as a very strong voice of the Indian startup ecosystem, as an investor, and Nivruti, you and what you're doing with Intel, we hope that we have a strong advocate of for deep tech startups in the country in you. So thank you. Thank you so much for all the insight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Nivruti and Rajan, for that stimulating and an inspiring session. Wow. I think after that session, I am all for AI. And thank you, Shradha, for moderating the session in a unique, inimitable style. That truly calls for a round of session. Come on, everybody. That session was brilliant, wasn't it? We now feature an address by Ashok Chandavarkar, Director, Strategic Initiative at Intel, India.
I'm sure that most of you must have enjoyed the fireside chat and wish there was more time for audience questions. But in the interest of time and not keeping you away from the heroes of the day, I would like to quickly share some thoughts. When we started the journey of plug-in with the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India and SINE-IIT Bombay, little did we know that within 3 years, plug-in would emerge as a cult of innovation. touch over 34 fabulous founders of deep tech companies handpicked by external jury, with the only criteria being high impact innovations, made in India, and with significant scale potential. Of these, 5 startups have become part of Intel's partner programs. Over 50% of them have raised follow-on funding amounting to $25 million, with nearly a fourth of them being at the pre-Series A stage. We, as the plugin founding team, have been able to keep our promise to learn, adapt, and evolve this program to the changing needs of the ecosystem. One of the major enhancements instituted in the current edition is a multidiscipline coaching program where we had 3 outstanding coaches supplement over 30 Intel technology mentors who worked closely with the founders to monitor the venture's progress. They nudged them to give that extra push wherever needed, nurtured a culture of open and transparent dialogues to help sharpen the startup's value proposition, streamline their go-to-market plans, and rediscover their market position narrative. You will hear a few of these mentors and coaches of their experiences of working with these startups. Without further ado, let me invite you to spend the next 90 minutes of your valuable time with us to discover the incredible work done by the 11 passionate teams and allow yourselves to imagine the lasting impact they would have on their spheres of influence. Do also take time to schedule one-on-one meetings with these founders later this evening and over the next 3 days by using the meeting scheduler tool. I would now like to call the youngest and one of the most innovative teams to be the first to come and present, or should I say, rock the stage.
Thank you, Director Chandavarkar, for amping up the event with your energy. And now the startups are ready to rock the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we all have been waiting for. Pitches by our 11 outstanding startups. So I'm sure you're ready. If you are, let's hear a round of applause for all the 7 startups who are about to pitch today. All the best, guys. And here's the first one. Introducing Ariano Instruments. Music expresses that cannot be said actually, right? Words cannot express and music just says it all. But what if musical instruments are teamed with technology? An intriguing thought, isn't it? Let's find out more from the mentor, Narayan Sundararajan.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Pleased to introduce Ariano Instruments. Quickly, music started from humans singing and expressing themselves. And the first wave of innovation really started when human beings actually created instruments out of everyday things. And that was the second wave of innovation. And after that, the same instruments, the ability to take the sound that's coming from those instruments and actually modifying it electronically was the third wave of innovation. And the fourth wave of innovation after that was when the sound itself, instead of being created from these acoustic instruments, could be created electronically. And that was the birth of the synthesizer. And now we are at an age where we are trying to see how these instruments that create sound electronically can be made more expressive so that we can actually go back to the first wave of innovation when human beings sang. In other words, how do we make these electronic instruments, particularly keyboards and synthesizers, more expressive and make them sound more like human beings singing? And that's where Ariano Instruments comes in. They have been in the quest for making keyboards sing and making them more expressive. And that's why I'm excited to introduce them. They have done some extremely interesting work, both from a concept standpoint and the industrial design standpoint, but more importantly on the technology side, to make instruments, particularly keyboards, more expressive. We'll hear more about that in a few minutes. Thank you.
Keyboard is a great instrument for learning and producing music. Its intuitive layout of keys offers a quick entry for anyone into the world of music. Not just as a musical instrument, it has also evolved as a technological tool over the years.
However, today's keyboards still have significant limitations. If you play a song like Roja Theme on a keyboard and then on another instrument like a violin, you can notice there is a clear difference between the two renditions. On a violin, for example, the transition between two notes was very smooth and continuous. That's not possible on a keyboard today.
The main reason is keyboard doesn't allow a lot of playing techniques that other instruments do. Yes, there has been hardly any progress made on keyboard in these dimensions. Our mission is to make people play any music they can imagine. Hence, we took this as a challenge to create the most expressive keyboard in the world. We have renovated the keys from scratch, worked on the sensor technologies. After many months of hard work and numerous iterations, I finally had my first prototype where I can play a lot of these techniques. We got keen interest and feedback from various acclaimed musicians. And once we had an advanced prototype, we went and met Keyboard Satya. He is one of the most versatile and renowned Carnatic keyboardists in India. And he played the prototype and he really loved what he could do on this instrument.
This feature of wiggling with the keys is going to be a very big advantage for this instrument, and for not just a professional, but for anyone. It really fascinates me as a professional, and I need not use a modulation wheel as such, and I can just do it straight away, and it really gives that haptic feedback to me that I'm actually like pulling the string and playing it live. So that's going to be a very interesting aspect of this instrument.
We are really happy that we have cracked the technology, and now each and every key on our keyboard senses new finger movements, and that too while keeping the form factor and the mechanics of the keyboard intact.
I would say this invention of Ariano and this concept of Ariano is one of the very distinguishable invention in the modern day music industry as such. This will be an instrument which will be culminating everything into one and maintaining the form factor of a regular keyboard.
Our first product is a 5-octave stage-ready keyboard. A revolutionary keyboard needed rethinking in the form and design. The fusion of the design principles of a musical instrument and of a new age digital device.
The Ariano keyboard will appeal to any keyboardist, programmers, music composers, and even hobbyists. Basically anybody who desires to play expressive melodies on a keyboard this is going to be for them.
In the coming weeks, we have lined up conversations with influencers in the industry like A.R. Rahman and other global artists.
We look forward to having you join us on this musical journey. We welcome you to come find out more about our product and pre-orders.
Congratulations, Ariano. What a beautiful amalgamation. Thank you for bringing more music into our life. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, do you know these sessions don't have to be very serious? We thought we'll lighten you up a little. Here's a trivia segment where we ask you questions, and if you are the first ones to give us the right answers, then you get Amazon gift vouchers. Yes, you heard me right. We have Amazon gift vouchers for you. Kindly use the chat box below to send in your answers. Looking forward to some great participation. If you're ready, here's your first question. A full-size piano keyboard has how many keys? A full-size piano keyboard has how many keys? Your options are option A, 104 keys, option B, 67 keys, option C, 88 keys, and option D, 53 keys. All right, well, keep your answers coming, and I'm sure you are excited to participate. Keep that cupping, keep that spirit up. In the meantime, it's time for me to introduce our next pitch. Please put your hands together for Robot Intelligence. Now, if you think compliance is expensive, try non-compliance. Our next pitch promises an effective business solution. Wondering what it is? Let's find out from the mentor himself, Rahul Bedi.
When I look at a startup, I'm looking at a few critical things. Are they looking at a real customer problem that they're trying to solve? Do they have an interesting technology to use to solve the problem? And I think lastly, and I believe most importantly, the founding team. So let me introduce you to someone who's bold, dynamic, technologically savvy, customer obsessed, disciplined, and to top it all off, has got an awesome voice. Let me introduce you to Adit, the founder and CEO of Wobot, which is a company that's looking at solving real customer problems in the current times, especially around compliance and business process optimizations. And I'm really happy that we have him here today with us. And once again, let me introduce you to Adit.
Wobot enables process compliance using AI-powered video analytics. Process compliance is crucial for doing business around the world, and as nations routinely update their compliance legislations, demand for the most effective operational tool is urgent. Monitoring process compliance today across several sectors happens either through physical manual inspections or through manual remote inspections. Both of these methodologies have its own gaps stemming from it being costly as you scale up linearly, it being post-mortem analysis, and the human bias and fatigue that comes along with manual monitoring. This is where Wobot's video analytics platform comes into play, which is built on three fundamental blocks: person detection, object recognition, and activity recognition. These blocks plug into existing cameras, detect, capture, and deliver events across standard operating procedures. This is enabled because Wobot has pre-trained several checklists that can help the food, retail, and industrial sector become more process compliant. Here is a quick look at how Wobot can help organizations in the food service sector, like restaurants and kitchens, become more productive and compliant. Organizations in warehousing and manufacturing, as well as organizations in retail, adhere to their standard operating procedures. The interface allows for events to be delivered across the organizations and rectified on a real-time basis. It also goes a step further and allows for engagement to happen between the concerned stakeholders whenever an event is detected, as well as provide specific insights that can help them make future decisions. Wobot works with clients across different sectors and brands which are well known within their sector. Wobot has helped these organizations benefit qualitatively as well as quantitatively. Qualitatively, it allows for real-time rectification of anomalies that are raised or get a view of what is happening on the ground on a real-time basis, as well as provides specific insights around compliance within the organization. From a quantitative perspective, it helps reduce the cost of monitoring, reduce the risk of non-compliance, and increase the net promoter score as well as productivity. Wobot is powered by industry leaders with top VCs as well as ecosystem partners that enable it to deliver the value propositions to several customers. Get in touch with us today to help your business become more process compliant. Thank you.
Congratulations, Wobot. Compliance does foster innovation, a great example of computer vision in action. Next up, introducing QNew Labs. Now let me start with a small story. I used to work as the HR and once found a man applying for information security position. Wait, here's the interesting part. His resume was encoded and encrypted. Hashtag data protection. On that note, let's hear about our next pitch from mentor Kannan Babu.
Hey everyone, it's extreme pleasure to meet you, at least meet you in the challenging time. As you know, the world is connected and they're getting digitized. Security plays an important role in every aspect related to data, whether it's in motion or rest or in use. The economists are predicting data is going to be new oil. The computing world is moving from conventional to quantum computing. Protecting data is a new challenge altogether. There are many researchers, but only a handful have come up with a product to take on the quantum world today. I'm really happy right here in our own backyard. We have one such wonderful team working and weaving their magic. And I'm happy to welcome Sunil and QNU team onto the stage. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to QNew Lab session, addressing today's vulnerabilities and future threats using quantum cryptography. Man-in-the-middle attacks continue to rise. 95% of HTTPS servers are vulnerable to man-in-the-middle attacks, causing 35% of exploitations. It's a $1 trillion economy for online identity theft and fraud, causing a $1 billion direct loss. Typically, a cost of each password reset is about $70. And that's broadly accepted industry standard, depending upon where you are. So what's the need for new cryptographic solution? Of course, this is to solve secure authentication. If you had nothing to remember, impossible to steal, a strong anti-phishing to protect your data, and privacy compliance governed by CIOs and CISOs, which everybody followed, then a lot of that would get addressed. There comes the quantum paradigm. Bits, as you know, are zeros and ones. They are mathematical in nature. Qubits are zeros and ones superimposed by the laws of quantum physics. This renders instability for them, and this generates randomness of the highest level. Once you take that and create random number generation using quantum, then you get random keys of the highest level. These are distributed across channels, wherein you could have intrusion detection and alarm proactively measured. Of course, it cuts across fiber and non-fiber channel with our solutions. What's the value proposition that we bring in? We bring in the root of trust. This helps to eliminate man-in-the-middle attacks, by providing 100% random keys, secure symmetric pair of keys, which our CIOs and CISOs can take to battle. To this, we did 2 products and 5 solutions, making sure that your network is safe today and continues to remain safe for hackers who are quantum ready. Our target industries today cut across multiple industries: BFSI, cloud and data center, defense, and telecom continue to be mainstay, and we continue to get new opportunities across multiple other industries. Our hybrid solutions for wide area networks is what you're seeing. It consists of the classical network in tandem with quantum secure network, making the end-to-end security completely possible. With this, we have a wide range that addresses end-to-end problems. With quantum cryptography, you get unparalleled securities for today's vulnerabilities and future threats. We would like you to watch the next video, which talks more in detail about our product and solution. Thank you for watching. This is QNew Labs from Bangalore, India.
HODOS, a next-generation post-quantum cryptography product, is based on the new mathematical models which are quantum-resistant. HODOS is an innovation from QNew Labs, which is a pioneer in quantum cryptography. It generates a symmetric pair of secret keys over any media and for any distance, making the entire network secure from man-in-the-middle attacks and help customers address phishing. HODOS extends quantum-safe keys through QKD, quantum key distribution, creating best-of-breed quantum-secure hybrid networks. We enhance the security further by a combination of timed one-time passwords and QRNG to create a pair of mass secret keys, ensuring you have the safest network for extreme protection. In the pre- and post-quantum world, where the compute power is highly enhanced, including the imminent arrival of quantum computers, this solution is the ultimate safety an enterprise must adopt. HODOS makes the entire core to last mile secure using a combination of PQC and quantum cryptography. With quantum cryptography in QNew, you get unparalleled security for today's vulnerabilities, and we also ensure that you are future-proof. Talk to us. We are QNew Labs, based out of Bangalore.
Quantum safe encryption will play a big role in AI and ML. As thought leaders in this space, we were evaluating different technologies to integrate into our portfolio. QNew Labs not only provided us with the best solution, but also made us look at quantum technology from diverse perspective. It is amazing to see a startup in India creating world-class products and solutions and creating a buzz globally. We integrated QNew's Tropos, QRNG, into a blockchain offering, and we're now coming up with a solution for multi-factor authentication resistant to all kinds of cyber attacks we see today. The journey has just begun, and I believe that the impact that we will create together is immeasurable.
Congratulations, QNew, and thank you for the futuristic implementation of quantum keys. And now, ladies and gentlemen, time to reveal the answer. We've received a lot of answers, but two winners have given us the right answer. So what is the right answer? 88 keys is the right answer. And the winners are Mrinalini Nayak and Aritra Bowie. Congratulations! You win Amazon gift vouchers. You keep celebrating while we move on to check out our next startup. Please put your hands together for 10x Technologies. Integrated circuit evaluation usually takes time. Let's hear from 10xer how this is made easy. Please welcome mentor Saurabh Gupta.
It's only once in a while when you meet entrepreneurs with a seemingly audacious vision that you refuse to believe in. It becomes incredible when they put it all together brick by brick and push their convictions to become a reality. And it doesn't seem any lesser than a miracle when they finally convert skeptics into the hardcore believers. That's the story of 10xer, who made it possible to have these expensive hardwares available as a service. Let's hear it from Shradha, co-founder of 10xer, who is leading our way to future by turning this vision to reality.
I am Shradha Joshi, one of the founders of 10xer Technologies. Much of our modern electronic innovations are silently powered by the semiconductor industry, which build the tiny yet immensely powerful integrated circuits, which are commonly known as chips or silicon. The bad news is that the semiconductor industry's conventional business is on a decline. However, the good news is that the emerging technologies such as IoT, 5G, and AI are shaping up a massive $100 billion market opportunity for these companies. But this new emerging market has a very different DNA. In this market, the center of gravity of demand is spreading out from a few large enterprises to a long tail of small innovators all over the globe. And guess what? These innovators are not buying the individual ICs anymore. Instead, they are demanding integrated solutions with multiple ICs that can help them come up with the POCs quickly and also help them manage the short product design cycles. This is a very big change. It is actually reshaping the current market dynamics. This will bring up new winners and losers as we go along, based on how well the semiconductor companies understand this market reality and play the new game well. For example, in this rapidly moving new market, IC companies can not compete if they do not have the real-time and accurate insights into how the users are engaging with their IC solutions. These insights help support the customers effectively. Next, there needs to be a way to reach out to 100x more customers. Scale is essential so as not to miss out on the real winner in the long term. To summarize, the growth potential will be limited by the spread and speed and scale at which the ICs can be evaluated. But this is not easy for the new companies or the semiconductor companies to shift to our market realities. It is difficult to change the existing procedures that have been there for years, if not decades. With the current setup, it is not possible to handhold every customer for the chip evaluation process. It is difficult to build support teams across the geographies for too many diverse boards. This is where we, 10xer Technologies, come in. While allowing the semiconductor companies to focus on their design wins, we take care of simplifying the new customer engagement models. Through virtual labs, we enable scale evaluation, that is one board for hundreds of users. Customer onboarding for evaluation happens in a few minutes with a browser. The entire evaluation process happens within a day compared to weeks it would earlier take. Our real-time analytics about the customer behavior, engagement with the boards, help the semiconductor companies to support the right customers at the right time and also plan for the next relevant features. The solution provides an AI-powered assistance to get customers onboarded quickly. Let's see how the product works now.
There are millions of new solutions being built by innovators across the globe who use IC components. Let us take the example of a system designer, Vismaya. She spends a huge amount of time checking IC datasheets, looking for recommendations, getting evaluation boards shipped by IC companies, and testing those with their prototypes until she finds the right IC. The whole process could take 4 to 6 weeks. It is frustrating sometimes. Now, let us see what happens when Vismaya uses 10xer's virtual IC labs. Unlike in the previous case, Vismaya doesn't need to wait for the testing boards to arrive. She just logs into the 10x's virtual lab, quickly reviews all available evaluation boards, and finds a prototype application pre-built for her evaluation process. Within minutes, she connects to the cloud prototype hardware, configures all necessary parameters, and then evaluates the board online. She doesn't need to chase IC support teams for any technical clarifications. AI-powered virtual FAE provided by 10xa handholds Vismaya through the entire evaluation process and resolves all her technical queries in real time. Vismaya gets the entire evaluation done just in 2 days, including trial of 3 different IC boards. So how does 10xa make it happen? 10xa has built a cloud evaluation infrastructure where semiconductor companies can host their purpose-built evaluation boards along with solution prototypes to accelerate the evaluation process. Unlike the conventional process, these physical evaluation boards hosted in 10x's labs are time-shared by users. They are reused by thousands of designers instead of being sent to just a few designers for their exclusive evaluation. With thousands of designers evaluating IC boards in the virtual lab, 10x's Customer Connect module collects real-time customer engagement data and provides accurate insights of customers' IC usage and their evaluation progress to the IC companies. IC companies can use this data to efficiently manage their leads and reduce their sales closure time by 70 to 80%. 10x's virtual lab is the future of IC evaluations. Any board, anytime, any place. We are ready. Are you?
So what's been the customer response? 10xa platform is gaining traction and has been validated by many customers. We are currently engaged with 2 global giants. Our solution is readily deployable to motor driver controllers, the power management ICs, the LED drivers, and precision ADCs, and so on the virtual lab. Our future roadmap is to enable 100K evaluations, host 200 or more boards, and get 10,000 users in the short term. Thank you for hearing us.
Congratulations, 10xa, and thanks to Shradha and team for showing the way with effective semiconductor evaluation. Up next, we have Transmeo. Our next pitch gives us insights on keeping pipeline infrastructure safe from external intrusions. Giving us more information about the same is mentor Rajesh Pandit.
Our next founder from God's own country, Kerala, relishes on appam, fish curry, and a whole lot of technology. His startup is keeping the pipeline infrastructure of some of the oil and gas majors in India safe from external intrusions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my great pleasure to introduce to you Safil Sunny and Transmeo.
Hi, I'm Safil Sunny, founder and CEO of Transmeo. We are an young, vibrant company focusing on anomaly and intrusion detection in oil and gas pipelines with the help of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and distributed acoustic fiber sensing technology. Oil and gas industry has aging arteries. Securing and monitoring of aging remote pipelines is one of the biggest challenging problems and faced by any oil and gas companies. 7 million kilometers of unmonitored and unprotected pipelines are around the world, which is prone to theft, intrusions, leak, and pilferages. Moreover, the lives lost as well as the environmental damages are beyond the measure. The pipeline industry is doing an incident-driven approach. Are you waiting for a disaster? Protecting and monitoring of remote oil and gas pipelines are really challenging. Manual patrolling daily or weekly over a large spread only gives you 10% efficiency in protecting the pipelines. Out of the large spread of the pipeline, 1/3 are difficult and inaccessible terrains. 80% of the external intrusion go undetected. Our solution, OneView, is India's first non-intrusive solution that can remotely monitor complete pipeline infrastructure by 24/7. It can dictate 20 plus activities in remote pipelines with an accuracy of less than 1 meter. Our solution is an AI-enabled system that can learn and evolve with respect to time. We utilize the existing fiber cable infrastructure and no extra power supply required in the field. Our solution helps oil and gas companies to eliminate the manual patrolling. It also provides 10x protection with 60% cost saving. We are focusing on preventive maintenance, anomaly and intrusion detection, leak detection, real-time analytics with comprehensive inspections. We are basically helping oil and gas companies to eliminate threats in pipelines and saving millions of dollars every year. We have a strong traction with 30x demand lined up over next 18 months. Within the short span of time, we have a strong portfolio of 12 pipelines spread over 4,000 kilometers. We also have received an investment from HPCL during the early stage of the company. Recently, we have selected as top emerging deep tech startup by Growth Enabler and emerging startup by Microsoft. Also, has executed an agreement with Intel and done an exclusive partnership with AP Sensing, one of the biggest photonics company in Europe. Our solution is a comprehensive and cost-friendly compared to the competitors. And only foreign suppliers with high cost offering or partial offerings are currently available in the market. Also, our system is an AI/ML system which is learning every day. We have a strong goal-driven team with a strong domain knowledge that is ready to rule the market. We have a total team size of 20 people in our team to realize the OneView product. Our core team consists of experts from photonics, quantum mechanics and optics, data scientists, mathematicians, and industry experts. We are here to help oil and gas companies to eliminate biggest risk and saving millions of dollars. Talk to us now. Thank you. Let's take a look at the explainer video now.
There are no effective solutions for monitoring large networks of industrial pipelines. That's why more than 5 million kilometers of pipelines are being manually patrolled the world over every day. Transmeo's OneView system smartly taps into existing fiber optical cables laid alongside the pipelines to detect leaks, cracks, and theft attempts. It provides highly accurate insights in real time, and the best part is it's completely non-intrusive. Transmeo's smart innovation is powered by modern technologies such as advanced photonics, machine learning, and high-performance DAS computing systems. OneView system is already protecting over 4,000 kilometers of pipelines, providing real-time actionable insights to customers. More than anything else, one thing that we have been able to do very well at Transmeo brings smiles to our customers' faces.
Congratulations, Transmeo, and thank you for showing us how optical sensing can enhance energy sector performance. All right, on popular demand, it's trivia time. We are getting a lot of answers, but we want everyone to participate. So please look for the chat option. The chat box is right actually left bottom of your screen. Please send in your answers. And here's the question. Which is the top oil producing nation as of 2020? And the options are option A, United States of America, option B, Saudi Arabia, option C, Russia, option D, Canada. Please do send in your answers and we are waiting. We want everyone to participate and that is why we have this trivia session. And remember, we have Amazon gift vouchers as well for winners. Fastest fingers first. On that note, it's time for me to introduce Wakers. Now, COVID-19 made us go from sociability to maintaining social distancing. It is the need of the hour, but are we doing it right? Let's find out. Please welcome mentor Ashok Chandavarkar.
I would now like to introduce a very soft-spoken and humble founder. From his tone and demeanor, you would not imagine that he has solved one of the toughest and high-value problems in location detection. His solution stands out over competition in a very crowded space. Let us now hear from Prateek on how Wakers is keeping offices safe and enabling businesses to remain operational in a COVID world. Welcome, Prateek.
Hello, everyone. This is Prateek, co-founder of Wakers. At Wakers, we have built world's first indoor positioning system which solves the multi-path issue. Today, I'll be speaking on accurate social distancing and contact tracing using our patented technology. COVID hit 6 months back and everything came to standstill. It slowed down all the things and even halted the operations. The need of R in such scenarios is safety first. This can be achieved by giving exact social distancing breach alerts, efficient contact tracing and tracking, contactless attendance management, and having accurate reports and logs. The challenge is still inaccurate indoor tracking. Available technologies are not fit for social distancing. Mobile apps with BLE have low reliability as they're dependent on Bluetooth on all the time. BLE beacons are highly unreliable as they use only signal strength to determine the location. Visual sensors are intrusive to privacy and they're very expensive. All these challenges lead to compliance, operational risk, and possibly shutting down the operations. But you can get back in control by leveraging Wakers CRF technology. We provide an indoor accuracy of 30 centimeters with extremely low number of readers. Using our angle of arrival systems, we get a high scalable system, higher battery life, and at a lower cost. Social distancing is determined by buzzer alerts, wherein distance can be configured as low as 50 centimeters. There's absolute zero interference with your existing network, and most importantly, same hardware investment can be extended in future for plenty of other use cases, which I'll be discussing in the next slides. Our solution consists of people and asset tracking tags. These tags are battery powered, with battery ranging from 2 to 5 years. They come with the inbuilt panic button and buzzer functionality. The zone monitors are the receivers which further computes the data and send across to the cloud. Our solution is hosted on Digital Blanket platform. Our solution is Intel architecture powered, wherein we use upsquare boards and Intel i7 and Xeon processors. Solution highlights. We operate in ISM 2.4 gigahertz band. Battery life is 2 years with an update rate of 30 seconds. The read range is about 50 square meters, which makes the gateway range of 5,000 square meters. Wakers' solution is proven across clients and geographies. As we speak, we have customer base across India, Singapore, and Japan. We are granted a US patent last year, and we have customers in the segments of data center, enterprise, manufacturing, warehousing, and logistics. Also, as highlighted earlier, Wakers' solution is multiple use cases post-COVID scenario as well. Same infrastructure investment can be extended to multi-use cases. Few of the use cases include mission-critical asset tracking like forklifts and pallets, employee safety and security for disaster management case. Inbuilt panic button proves to be a great feature for women's safety. Accurate occupancy and utilization tracking can be achieved since the exact number of assets and people can be tracked. Visitor tracking ensures the visitors do not enter any of the restricted areas. Also, location-aware environmental sensors like temperature, humidity, and airflow provides thermal management. Our purpose is to provide this indoor technology power directly into the hands of consumer. To make this efficient solution, this can be deployed in a matter of hours. Our approach is to ensure safety and compliance. So deploy Vekas and get back in control. Thank you. Now let's have a look at our demo.
Congratulations, Vekas, and thank you for your demo on indoor positioning in action. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Haystack. The world is turning to genomics and we ought to know more about the same. Inviting mentor Ramanathan Sethuraman to enlighten us.
Finding individuals with tuberculosis, more specifically XDR-TB, is like searching a needle in a haystack. The only way to contain spread of TB is to quickly diagnose these individuals wherever they are. The genomic test from Haystack is a step in this direction. Let's listen in to Anirvan, Haystack's CEO and the genomic man, who is indigenous. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Anirvan Chatterjee, co-founder at Haystack Analytics. We are a startup incubated at SINE-IIT Bombay. We have developed a SaaS platform enabling our partners to be part of the genomics revolution in the healthcare domain. For a clinician, a good diagnostic test is the one which accurately identifies the disease condition of the patient and provides insights into which therapy will work best. However, in the real world, there are multiple tests for the same symptom. Thus, instead of focusing on the therapy, a clinician today has to take a bet on which tests to choose to get the information that will enable a good clinical decision. Unfortunately, for many patients, this becomes a long, painful journey of several rounds of diagnostics and therapies before the correct diagnosis is made. The main reason for this inaccuracy is that all current diagnostic methods, such as microbiology, biochemistry, or molecular biology, analyzes a very, very small fraction of the biology underlying the disease condition. And even after combinations of tests, the information remains incomplete, leading to frequent misdiagnosis. Eventually, a patient loses trust on the doctor and moves on for second opinion. Critically, This valuable time lost for initiating the right therapy significantly decreases the chance of complete recovery. Genomics effectively decodes the entire biological information in one step. The growing demand for genomics has made it affordable, and after FDA-approved next-generation sequencing for diagnostic use, it has become the diagnostic method of choice for clinicians worldwide. As a postdoc at University of Oxford, I was part of modernizing medical microbiology team, which developed and deployed genomic diagnostic for tuberculosis for the National Health Services in UK. Why is this revolutionary technology not reaching the masses? The short answer is genomic analysis is very difficult and requires large teams of scientists working with highly specialized computing hardware to find the clinically relevant information from the data. Thus, while today genome sequencing can be done in just a few hours in a few thousand rupees, the analysis can take several weeks and cost tens of thousands of rupees. Today, we are changing all of this forever and for everyone. At Haystack, we have solved this problem by automating the entire analysis process. Our alpha computing device, which we have co-developed with Intel, fits on your palm, comes built with our Omega genomic analysis software, which converts raw DNA data into a simplistic diagnostic report. It is simple to use, precisely identifies the underlying genetic cause of the disease. Crucially, all of this is automated and validated. Currently, we have launched 2 analytical products on the Alpha Box. Omega TB, which provides drug resistance profiles for 17 anti-tuberculosis drugs in 15 minutes, and Omega Gut, which analyzes the gut microbiome for conditions such as IBS, rheumatoid arthritis, type 2 diabetes, amongst others. Over the next year, we will be launching Omega ID, which can diagnose 200 plus pathogens in one test, and Omega Onco for early diagnosis of specific cancers. Our genomic analysis completely removes the need for any bioinformatics R&D. It is plug and play, compatible with all major sequencing technologies, and can even be used by the clinician directly to analyze the data on a single click. At Haystack Analytics, we are committed to empower every clinician to use genomics for decision making. We took our first step towards this by developing and deploying Omega TB in 2019, which has now been used by National Health Mission, Hinduja Hospital, amongst others. And now in 2020, by partnering with Intel, we have created world's first fully integrated genomic analysis platform, which anyone can use for genomic diagnostics to take accurate clinical decisions, like it is done in an Oxford or Harvard Medical School. All of this happens on the Alpha Box, sitting on your desk or lab, which you can seamlessly access from even your mobile. Whether you are a diagnostic company, an independent researcher, or a doctor in the clinic, our integrated genomic analysis platform ensures you are in full control of your genomic application. For our partners who are in the diagnostic market, we are not only enabling them to serve the top doctors in the country, with genomics, we are enabling them to be part of clinical trials, research projects, pharmaceutical drug development, where today genomic analysis is prerequisite for any project. The world is turning to genomics, and we are happy to help you in your journey towards accurate and complete clinical decision. By unlocking this genomic revolution, we can help doctors find the right therapy for the right patient at the right time. Here is a short video of our product. Please connect with us for more details. Thanks.
Genome sequencing is revolutionizing clinical diagnostics by making it deeply personal and accurate. Diagnostic providers are switching over from older diagnostic systems to next-generation sequencing. While setting up NGS systems itself is straightforward, diagnostic providers are struggling to make sense of genome data due to cumbersome bioinformatics. Haystack Analytics makes bioinformatics interpretation as simple as using Google search. Just drag and drop your NGS file into our diagnostic application, and in less than 15 minutes, our AI-powered system transforms your NGS data into printable genomic reports. Our Omega suite of products are tailor-built for a wide variety of specific diagnostic applications. Since Haystack Analytics System looks into the entire biological information behind the condition, clinicians now can make very quick therapeutic decisions for their patients without any element of doubt. In collaboration with the engineers at Intel, we are making all of this world-class genomic analysis into a simple, small computing device no bigger than your hand, which we call the Alpha Box. With us, your genomic analysis is up to date, secure, and most importantly, complete.
Congratulations, Haystack. Thank you for showcasing the power of genomics. Wow. And on that note, it's time for us to give you the answer for the previous question. We've received so many answers, so many right answers this time. Thank you so much. And the answer for the previous question is United States of America. And how many of you got it right? I'm sure many of you. But we have our top 3 winners. Please join me in congratulating Akshay Sharma, Pankaj and Urvi Shotriya. Congratulations. You get gift vouchers from Amazon. You enjoy and of course you keep celebrating while I introduce the next startup. Ladies and gentlemen, this is VDT Technologies. I am sure you'll agree when I say a small leak will sink a great ship. Industrial pipeline leakages are major problems. Let's remedy that. Welcoming mentor Rakesh Mishra.
If you want to experience the warmth and passion of a true made in India innovation, then come and meet VDT Technologies, a startup by industry veterans who know their stuff seriously well. They have rolled up their sleeves to make industrial oil and gas pipelines absolutely disaster-free, and they are doing it by bringing conventional wisdom and modern technologies together. Join us to welcome the man behind the mission, Mr. Bhunesh Kumar.
आप सभी के घर में पानी की पाइपलाइन आती होगी, वो लीकेज करे तो क्या होगा? कहीं सीपेज आएगा, कहीं पानी बढ़ जाएगा। इसी प्रकार आप सभी के घर में गैस की पाइपलाइन भी आती होगी, वो लीकेज करे तो क्या होगा? There can be a disaster happens. There are a lot of pipeline all over the world where the hydrocarbon travels from one refinery to another refinery, one country to another country, and now at your home as well. There are a lot of examples where the pipelines have been leakage and accidents happens. In picture, there was an accident happens in Andhra Pradesh. The 14 people died at spot due to natural gas leakage. The second picture belongs to Mumbai refinery, and there are a lot of other accidents happens every year in hydrocarbon pipelines all over the world. There are some common causes, like illegal tapping by notorious people in the pipeline, slurry and debris deposits inside the pipeline, and other metal defects like corrosion, dents, and cracks. How we are inspecting this pipeline as of now? There are some conventional methods available. With very low resolution of inspection data, they do internal damage of the pipeline. They cannot identify the illegal tapping on fluent basis because they are very few, so there is a monopoly. Due to low resolution of data, there are other accuracy issues as well. Due to monopoly, the high cost and high cycle time is there. We say ourselves a pipeline doctor because we have the highest accuracy tools with us. Our tools capture 1500 data per second against 750 data per second as per. We say 40% of the cost to the client and 70% of repair decision time due to machine learning processes, data analysis. We do audit of illegal tapping through our eddy current technology. We do defect inspection through MFL and geometry technology. We also do the progressive cleaning to maintain the integrity of the pipeline. Please go through the product video. Safety is priceless. We save 100% of import costs because we have the indigenous technology available. We also save the 50% operation cost because it isn't dependent on any other countries for this technology. We also identify the illegal tapping on fluent basis so the client can take very fast decisions. And we will also save the precious foreign exchange, approx 100 CR per year for this country. There are two major players in the market. The Linscan belongs to Dubai and the Rosen belongs to Germany. Unfortunately, there is no Indian player, and the current player are using the convention technology in the pipeline. They are highly expensive. VDT is purely indigenous made technology. We are using the machine learning to check the data. And we also have the separate tool for oil and gas pipeline. We also save the 40% of the client cost. Currently, we have 8 and 10-inch pipeline tools. 12-inch, 18-inch, and 20-inch tools are under the production stage. We got seed financing from one of the premier institution of this country, Gas Authority of India Limited, and industry validation from IIM Lucknow. We just signed an term sheet with another premier institution of this country, and our future client is Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. Our technology is certified by third party through test, which we are going to use in our client pipeline. Rajan Sharma is one of the technology guy in our company and 15 years experience in software domain. Currently, he is responsible for embedded system and software. Vinay Kumar is the CEO of the company. He did his engineering from Russia. Having 20 years experience in the same domain, he ran 15,000 of the kilometer this type of robotic tools inside the pipelines all over the world in his previous assignments. Myself is a managing director of the company, and I'm responsible for everything. This is really a great opportunity for Indian oil and gas industry to become first zero accident pipeline infrastructure. Thank you. Please go through my demo video.
With time, pipelines gather debris and filthy deposits that can start blocking the pipeline. Pipelines often suffer due to corrosion and deformations. If these pipelines are not regularly inspected, cleaned, and repaired, fatal accidents happen. And vital supply of oil and gas is disrupted. VDT's indigenous pigging tool makes use of modern technologies such as eddy current and magnetic flux leakage to provide high-resolution inspection and superior cleaning services like never before. We at VDT are integrating deep domain knowledge with most advanced technologies. We are on the mission of building modern tools for pipeline integrity because we believe safety isn't expensive, it's priceless.
I'm Suresh Prashad Singh. I worked in Oil India Limited and retired in end 2015 as Executive Director. I was in the field of metals management and noted that only foreign parties are participating for the services of pipeline inspection. There was no Indian company, and I'm really happy to know that a company called VDT Pipeline Integrity Solutions Private Limited has come up in mid-2017. This company has developed their own tools, and these are MFL and anti-theft, apart from some other tools. With this, the country can become self-reliant in this area, apart from saving presses foreign exchange. The owner of this company is having rich experience in this area in a major company abroad, and he is fully geared to provide the services. I feel that this company will make a mark in this area. I wish all the best to this company. Thank you.
Congratulations, VDT. Thank you for illustrating the power of technology to save lives and money. On that note, let me introduce Infilect. Infilect is a pioneer in retail visual intelligence, and they have a perfect solution to empower retail businesses. Let's know more from mentor Juby Chose.
Vijay is a very determined entrepreneur. Customers for his firm Infilect include some of the biggest names in international retail and FMCG. What differentiates Infilect from the other retail startups is their ability to quickly identify customer pain points and rapidly extend their product line. I'm personally inspired by Vijay's agility and ambition. He's quick to identify market adjacencies and roll out solutions in newer form factors. The team has invested deeply in core vision IP and platforms, and this gives Infilect the nimbleness to keep adding to its already impressive list of global customers. Infilect's growth is a true testament to the value of customer obsession and deep tech focus. Welcome, Vijay.
Hi all, I'm Vijay. I am co-founder at Infilect. Infilect is a Bangalore-based enterprise SaaS company focusing on visual intelligence for retail, and InfiViz is its flagship product which empowers CPG brands to take control of their retail execution. Since several decades, sales teams inside CPG brands have been struggling to answer the most basic question: are my stock keeping units at all displayed across a large number of retail shelves? And even today, this question remains unanswered, and hence the entire industry loses more than $1 trillion to out of stocks and overstockings. And this largely happens because retail execution is not digitized. The execution of retail products across a large number of stores is defined by the 4 Ps: presence, placement, positioning, and pricing of the products displayed on the retail shelves. And measuring these 4 Ps has in fact been the difference between performance and perishment in the era of COVID-19. And yet CPG brands today do not have methods beyond manual audits. These audits sometimes take about an hour inside a store. They're only about 50% accurate, and they do not scale beyond just a few tens of stores. To us at Infilect, having the right products at the right time on the right shelves is not just a business problem, but it's an opportunity to optimize the entire supply chain and empower businesses. And hence, every day we ask ourselves a question. Can there be an automated process by which we can digitize execution of retail in more accurate fashion, in more scalable fashion, and in a faster way? We believe that there are three strong tailwinds to answer this question. Firstly, AI that can process images at scale is at an inflection point and it can provide exceptional ROI. Secondly, SaaS-based engagements have made it commercially viable to solve large-scale problems. And thirdly, in the era of cloud-first and mobile-first products, it is possible to build experiences by which we can solve the problems in real time. And hence, we have built Infivis. Infivis is a platform which helps CPG brands to digitize the 4 Ps and extract information about their SKUs as well as SKUs of the competition, including their prices. As part of Infivis, we have a very simple to use mobile application which is given to the sales reps of CPG brands which already visit a large number of retail stores. So the sales reps on their regular visits take pictures of the retail shelves. Using a combination of edge as well as cloud processing, we extract information from the processes and then prepare personalized personalized plans so that sales reps on the ground can take actions in terms of plugging out of stock, in plugging overstocking, as well as in making sure that the right SKUs are displayed on the right shelves. Not just that, with deep integration into the IT systems, a CPG brand can now take control of their payouts to the stores, as well as they can mobilize the distribution of SKUs to the right stores. And with data flowing from millions of stores now, they can also formulate strategies to optimize their prices and assortments. So if you see, Infivis empowers the entire org, right, from sales managers to brand managers to category managers. So let's see how Infivis can be used to track every shelf in every store every single day. Today, Infivis is deployed across more than 100,000 stores across the world, across more than 12 plus countries, and it has proven to yield sales lifts for CPG brands up to 5%. And in fact, it has saved more than 25 millions of minutes for sales reps on the ground, and it has influenced payouts of up to $10 million. And our customers have been seeing the benefits from day one. For instance, a multinational personal care CPG brand deployed Infivis across several countries, and it is seeing a significant ROI on their retail audits. A food and beverage CPG company deployed Infivis across thousands of stores in just a matter of a few weeks, and they have taken complete control of their payouts to retail stores. Infibiz is a flagship product of Infilect. Infilect is a B2B enterprise SaaS company with focus on computer vision for retail. It is led by professionals with deep experience in sales, technology, and deep domain knowledge. And it is backed by marquee investors such as Mela Ventures, One Crowd, and the Chennai Angels. So if you are a CPG brand, we believe that together we can solve one of the most important activities in our daily lives, which is the availability of the right SKUs on the right shelves. And we believe that together we can work and we can supercharge the execution of retail across a large number of stores. Thank you.
Congratulations, Infilect. Thanks for the quick demo on smart shelves in retail. And on public demand, on popular demand, for the last time this evening, trivia time. And if you're ready, ladies and gentlemen, here's the question. How many startups have been a part of plug-in program across the 3 cohorts? Your options are option A, 29, option B, 32, option C, 30, and option D, 34. Please send in your answers now, and remember, if you get the right answer and if you're the first ones to give us the right answer, you get an Amazon gift voucher. On that note, it's time for me to introduce Camcom. Now, what if I told you there is an easier way for insurance agency to check for damage claims? Let's find out how from their mentor. Introducing Amit Chatterjee.
Meet the bold, confident, and always composed Mahesh. Just one interaction it takes to realize the focus in which he operates and offer the confidence of handling difficult challenges. His solution is unique and value-driven. That is, standardization of paint surface inspection. Camcom is helping factories increase their productivity and optimize outcomes. Welcome, Mahesh.
Why is visual quality important? They say it's love at first sight. It's not love at first drive. Bad quality, especially on the visual front, can and will ruin a customer experience. Why is it so tough to maintain quality? Because quality is monotonous. It's human intensive, it's subjective, and it's error prone. We humans are good at higher order thinking skills. You ask us to do something repeatedly, fatigue sets in, and we start making errors at the end of a shift. But what if you could drive consistently quality that is objective, precise, and scalable? Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Camcom, AI for Automotive Defect and Damage Assessment. And I'm Mahesh, I'm a co-founder and CEO at Camcom. Camcom works across the whole inspection lifecycle in the automotive sector. And the inspection lifecycle in the automotive sector broadly divided into 2 primary categories. One is from a component manufacturer, OEM, finished vehicle logistics perspective, where you're looking at defects that are micro. And when I say micro, for example, in an assembly line, you're looking at dust in a paint shop that's 50 microns. This requires bespoke regs, control lighting. We do all of that, right? We work with the biggest names in the OEM industry and finished vehicle logistics. This is still the vehicle hits the dealer. The moment the vehicle hits the dealer, it all becomes macro level damages that you look for at that point, right? From a service center to an insurance to rental fleets and used vehicles. You're now looking at dents, you're looking at scratches, you're looking at broken parts, you're looking at gouges, you're looking at macro level defects. These we do with the help of mobile devices. You do not need rigs for these. These are widely deployed and scalable. What we're going to do is we're going to take one slice of this and look at it in detail. And we're going to take a look at the insurance side of the things. Basically, insurance has 3 separate segments. There's your claims, right? Which is when you get into an accident, you need to find out what your damages are, tell your insurance company, they need to come back with a surveyor and tell you this is going to be X amount of cost. Can it become self-inspection for claims? There's your break-in when your insurance policy lapses and you need to renew your policy. There is an inspection that is needed. Can it be self-sufficient inspections? And then there's pre-inspections when you buy a vehicle. right? Which is damage assessment to see whether the vehicle is in good condition, what the premiums should be. Can we help there? And these are solutions that are deployed on widely available mobile devices. How does it work, right? As easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, capture 8 images, which is your front, your rear, left, right, front, right, rear, left, rear, right. These are the 8 images of the vehicle. Send it to the AI system. A matter of a couple of minutes, it breaks it down into the 30 unique exterior parts of an automotive. This could be things like your bumper, doors, fenders, etc. It analyzes damage on every single part. And it comes back with a severity score on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Based on the severity score and based on whether the part is plastic, whether it's metal, it also gives you a repair or a replace decision. Once you and the workshop have agreed on the decision, it automatically gives you what is going to be the cost or an estimate to resolve these problems. This includes your parts cost, your labor cost, and your paint cost. You can do spot settlements. What used to take days now is done in under 5 minutes. That is the power of Camcom AI. Let's take a quick look at a demo and see how it works.
Using the Camcom app, you can capture 8 different angles of the car by pointing the stencil and clicking pictures. Once captured, the images get uploaded onto our AI platform. It is easy to use, intuitive, and an instantaneous process. View all details of the car, including the make, model, and the registration number. You can also view the uploaded and relevant images, including images of the 29 exterior, identified, unidentified, and damaged parts. Using the zoom option, get a closer look at the pictures. You can also take new pictures and review the images. Human intervention is tracked using an audit trail, and our AI system learns from every override action performed on the app. A damage score is generated for every captured part of the car. Based on this score, our AI system suggests repair or replacement for damaged parts and advises the cost of the parts, paintwork, and labor. The claim is settled on the spot in less than 5 minutes. Contactless, precise, completely objective, scalable.
Thank you for watching the demo, ladies and gentlemen. Camcom, from a customer perspective, is highly tried and tested. We run tens of thousands of claims and inspections from the likes of Bajaj Alliance and HDFC Ergo in India and Batania in the Middle East. We are in field trials in the OEM space with some of the largest players in the world, which includes the likes of Hyundai, TVS, Morris Garages, and Motherson. What are the benefits of using a Camcom AI-enabled visual inspections? We are 5x more effective, 10x faster than human manual inspections. We have a quantifiable ROI that we have shown to our customers. We future-proof your business. God forbid there's a pandemic again. What will you do with social distancing? What will you do with contactless? How do you do that? So we future-proof your business starting today. What you will get is a bunch of satisfied customers. We also provide actionable analytics that are highly predictive in nature. So you can go back, find the source of your problems and fix your problems at source. And that is what Camcom enables you to do. Happy customers start with the right quality partner. Call us for your visual inspection needs. We are more than glad to help. Thank you for your patient hearing, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mahesh and I represent Camcom. Thank you.
Artificial intelligence enabled damage assessment will play a big role in the motor insurance industry with respect to claims and inspection. The addition of artificial intelligence and deep learning to what has traditionally been a human-intensive process will ensure that errors in settlements are kept to a minimum. This will also speed up the whole process for the end customers. We have worked closely with Camcom to create the most accurate AI damage assessment platform currently is in use in the industry. Thank you.
Well done, Camcom. Congratulations. Thank you for showing the combination of vision and quality. On that note, time to introduce our final startup demo of the day, Switch On. Now, little did I know that welding can be collaborated with technology. Imagine artificial intelligence in welding. Truly cutting edge. No pun intended. Let's know more from mentor Amit Chatterjee.
Meet the soft-spoken, humble and always smiling Anirudh. Based on your interactions, you would not realize that he has solved a very difficult challenge, that is machine visualization and inspection in a single view. His solution stands over competition. Switch On is helping factories increase their productivity and optimize business outcomes. Welcome, Anirudh.
Hello, this is Anirudh from Switch On, and I'm going to talk about how we are helping the manufacturers tame a major quality issue in their plants by inspecting welding quality through real-time AI. The welding process is used in a lot of critical manufacturing and is of different kinds, such as MIG, spot, so on. However, the one thing that unites different kinds of welding is that it's a very intricate process with a lot of parameters. The other thing that unites a lot of the welding is that it is very, very error prone. You are forced to rework almost 20 to 30% of the welding work that you do on a regular basis, and even more so for new products. This leads to a lot of frustration, waste, and reworks in plant. In addition, the only way to do inspection of welding is through a very manual process called destructive testing, which needs you to cut the weld in half and see the quality of the weld. This is a very time-consuming process, so the only way to do this is through something called random sampling. In random sampling, what you do is that you only inspect one product in 1,000 products and essentially ship the other products without testing, which means that more than 99% of your products go untested with almost zero visibility on the actual quality of the products you ship. The risk is a very high of unhappy customers hurting your brand in the future because of this. Should you let a random, subjective decision on the shop floor hence become the basis of quality in your plant? With the help of the next generation of AI, we enable you to do a real-time inspection of all the welds in your plant and make it an objective process rather than a subjective process. Also, this is OEM agnostic and very, very easy to deploy. But before we get ahead, let's take a quick look at a demo at one of our customer locations.
Stanzen Engineering is a leading end-to-end stamping and welding solutions provider in India with a history of more than 3 decades. Stanzen has state-of-the-art stamping and welding machines for critical manufacturing. One of the major issues that they were facing is that there was no real-time visibility of defects on the shop floor. This led to production and quality issues on the shop floor and a huge turnaround time. Stanzen decided to deploy Switch On and leverage a combination of high-frequency data and AI to predict failures and detect defects in welding and stamping. Stanzen got real-time insights from the edge compute systems, helping them take quick decisions. In addition, Stanzen saw the entire plant in real time and understood their quality and performance bottlenecks through our dashboard. The middle management at Stanzen could dive into a defected asset in a shift and check the good and bad parts in real time through the detailed view and understand minute production details. Stanzen has now started discussing the automatically generated report in their management meetings to drive Kaizen improvements. So you can finally be in control, anticipate and solve issues proactively, and increase the performance of your plant.
Wow. The demo is actually seeing the real-time parameters of the weld and is finding out wherever there are defects in the plant, right? Which will give you a complete visibility over the quality of every single part on the shop floor, as you saw. The system can obviously generate reports for yourself and for your discerning customers through this, and guarantee the quality of every single part to your customers. However, whenever we talk about any such systems, we see that there is typically a deep integration effort and deployment effort involved. We have made the deployments a breeze for you through a completely non-intrusive setup and an installation time that takes days instead of months. But let's see one of our customers talk about their installation and adoption experience.
As a young trainee in Japan, my sensei taught me two important words, Gemba Myuruka. It means shop floor visualization, or as he'd like to explain it to me over and over again, let the Gemba talk to you. Fast forward many years, and here at Stanzen, we finally have a tool from SwitchOn with which we can realize these requirements. Whether it be the team member who operates the machines, our maintenance teams, our production managers, or the management that needs to dissect and analyze this data, we all share one common democratic truth of what's going on in the shop floor. The installation is simple and straightforward. It takes a couple of hours and our maintenance teams can do it themselves, and we're up and running. And the best part is we're only just scratching the surface of what we can do with this tool, whether it be predictive maintenance, issue tracking, or quality inspection. At Stanzen, we're looking forward to unlock the potential of SwitchOn's tool, and it's going to improve our efficiencies for sure, and eventually our bottom line. This humble little Kanban card that I grew up with, I won't write him off just yet, but he's got serious competition.
Thank you, Avinash. And we have done a bunch of scaled up deployments as well in different kinds of mission critical assets in the plant for the automotive as well as the FMCG space. In automotive, we work with companies like Brakes India, a part of the TVS group, and JBM, one of the premium tier 1 suppliers in India. We've also worked with a lot of tier 1 suppliers in the Toyota ecosystem. In addition, we work with a lot of tier 1 and first grade suppliers in the FMCG sector like ITC and Marico to help them guarantee the quality of every single part that they make in their plants. And we would love to help you ensure quality in your plants as well. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, SwitchOn. Thank you for helping us understand operational efficiency and how to maximize asset utilization. Well, that brings us to the end of all the pitches. When they're fantastic, I think it calls for a round of applause now. Thanks to all the founders of all these amazing startups and their mentors for their in-depth insights into problems and opportunities you are addressing. We wish each of you all the very best in the long and a rewarding journey of success. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the answer to the last question, in fact, the final question of the trivia game, and a lot of you have sent in the right answer. The right answer is 34. 34 startups is the right answer, and we have top 3 winners, and they get Amazon gift vouchers. Congratulations, Arun PM, Dr. Suresh A. Shan, and Amit Vishnani. Congratulations. And now for closing remarks, we present Rakesh Rajiv, Incubation Manager, SINE-IIT Bombay. Over to you, Rakesh.
A big round of virtual applause to all the 11 startups and the amazing solutions they have built. Great job, all of you. Well, this brings us to the end of the startup pitches, but the demo day is not yet over. We have the much awaited one-to-one interactions with the startups at the demo stalls. The link for this will be activated soon. Before we move to that section, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the heroes of the day, the 11 startups and their founding team members. It was not an easy journey at all. Just 3 weeks into the program, we had the countrywide lockdown, making face-to-face meetings impossible. The startups demonstrated a lot of grit in the midst of uncertainty to hang in there, to motivate their team members, work around on their strategy, conserve cash, etc. And I truly believe they did a fantastic job. On behalf of SINE-IIT Bombay, I would like to thank the program partners, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and Intel India. I would like to thank the program advisors, Dr. Anita Gupta, Nivruti Rai, Samir Kumar, Mohandas Pai, Jayashree Thakur, Dilip Jose, and Jitendra Chadda. The coaches and mentors played an integral part in providing valuable insight and course correction. I thank plugin coaches Rakesh Mishra, Subindra Khurana, and Rajesh Pandit, as well as the 25 plus mentors we had from Intel India who worked tirelessly alongside the startups for them to reach their milestones. Next, I would like to thank the organizing team, Ashok Chandavarkar, Raghu Manohar, Neil Bhatia, Sumit Verma, as well as my colleagues from SINE, Hoini Bhatt and Prasad Shetty. Lastly, I would like to thank all of you, the delegates who joined us today to witness this demo day.